Have you ever felt like your mood just has a mind of its own? Like it just takes over and you're along for the ride? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to unpack some incredibly simple but honestly life-changing ideas from clinical psychologist Dr. Julie Smith. These are the kinds of things that feel like secrets everyone should know. We're going to explore why our minds do what they do and, more importantly, get our hands on some real, practical tools that could completely change how you relate to your own emotions.
This is it. This is the question Dr. Smith hears over and over again in her therapy room. It's that aha moment, you know? It's that feeling when you're finally handed a missing page from your own instruction manual, when a feeling that's been so confusing suddenly just clicks into place, and you just have to wonder, why on earth did no one ever explain it to me like this before?
So this quote actually comes from a story Dr. Smith tells about a young woman in therapy, and this is what she said after just one single session where she learned some of these basic principles about how her mind works. It wasn't about some magic cure, it was just about education. See, she didn't need someone to fix her, she needed the tools to understand herself. And that's exactly what we're aiming for today, to hand you some of those very same tools.
Okay, so let's start with a feeling that I think is way too familiar for many of us. It's this belief we start to build that our low moods are just a permanent part of our personality, that it's some kind of personal failing we have to hide. We look at other people who seem to have it all together, and we can't help but ask, what is wrong with me?
This right here, this is a huge shift in perspective. Instead of seeing a low mood as some kind of fault in our brain, what if we saw it as a signal? Think of it like your body temperature. Your temperature goes up and down based on a ton of different factors. If you're sick, if you've been exercising, the room you're in. Your thermometer isn't broken, it's just responding. It's the exact same with your mood. And once you see it as a response, you realize you can start to influence the things that are triggering it. And that leads us to a really core idea. Your mood isn't just one single mysterious force that happens to you. Nope, it's more like a recipe, and it's created from a bunch of different ingredients. And the cool part is, once we understand what those ingredients are, we can actually start to change the recipe. We can start to break the cycles that keep us feeling stuck.
This is such a fundamental takeaway. Your brain is kind of like a detective, and it's constantly piecing together clues from your heart rate, your breathing, your memories, what you're doing, to create its best guess of how you should feel in that moment. It proves that managing your mood isn't just about trying to think positive, it's about taking care of the entire system.
I mean, we've all been there, right? A couple of off days, and then suddenly you feel like you're in this hole that's just getting deeper and deeper, and you have no idea how you got there. Well, that's not just a feeling. It's a really well-understood process that Dr. Smith calls the downward spiral of low mood. So here's how that spiral works. It usually starts with some kind of external event that makes our mood dip a little. In response, we get this really strong urge to pull back, to withdraw, to do less. And that inaction, well, that fuels beliefs like, see, what's the point of even trying? And of course, those beliefs make our moods sink even lower. It's a truly vicious cycle where a low mood convinces you to do the very things that guarantee it's going to stick around. But just seeing the pattern, that's the first step to breaking it.
So, the big question is, how do we interrupt that spiral? Well, one of the most powerful ways is to look at one of the key ingredients we talked about, our thoughts. More specifically, we need to learn how to spot the unhelpful patterns or thought traps that our minds tend to fall into, especially when we're feeling low.
This is so important to get. We're often told, just change your thoughts and you'll change your feelings. But it's a two-way street. When you feel down, your brain is actually more likely to serve up negative, self-critical thoughts. That's not a personal failing. It's not you being weak. It's just how the system is wired to work. Let's look at a few of the usual suspects. You've got all or nothing thinking, where everything is either perfect or it's a total disaster with no middle ground. Or how about emotional reasoning? That's where we decide something must be a fact simply because it feels true. I feel guilty, therefore I must be a bad parent. Recognizing these isn't about blaming yourself. It's just about seeing them for what they are. Just thoughts, and very often they're biased ones.
Okay, so we've looked at the theory. We know how mood is made, how it spirals. But, understanding is only half the battle, right? Now, let's get really practical and look at the first, most essential tool that you can start using literally today.
This is the big question, isn't it? It can all feel a little overwhelming. You've recognized the spiral, maybe you've spotted some of those thought traps in yourself, but now what do you actually do?
The answer is actually surprisingly simple, but it is incredibly powerful.
The very first step isn't to fight anything or to fix anything. It's simply to build your awareness, to just notice each part of the experience as it's happening, without judging it. You basically become an observer of your own mind.
And here is a super simple way to practice that. When you notice a shift in your mood, just pause for a second and ask yourself these 4 questions. Now, at first, you might do this looking back on your day, but with a little practice, you'll actually build the skill to notice these things happening in real time. And that moment of noticing, that little gap, that's where you find the power to make a different choice.
I love this point from Dr. Smith. These aren't some secret therapy skills. They are life skills. This knowledge isn't just for people who have a specific diagnosis, it's for every single one of us. Understanding how your mind works is like learning about nutrition for your body. It's a fundamental part of staying healthy and well.
You don't have to fix everything all at once. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start noticing. So I'll leave you with this final thought. As you go about the rest of your day-to-day, what's just one small thing you can notice about your own experience? Just one thought, one feeling, one urge. Because that tiny moment of awareness, well, that's where all change begins. Thanks for tuning in.